Hello. How are you doing today? So a major part about my job is just connecting the dots in someone's life so they can see things from a completely and utterly different perspective. For example, when I was a young kid, I was shy, I was insecure, I was anxious, and although I was experiencing pain from those problems, and they were not nice things to experience, as I'm sure you know, what I couldn't do is really connect the dots. So, say if I was 18 years old and it was stopping me from being driven to go and develop a career, or driven to go and chat up women, or driven to go and do anything. Yet, because of that fear, really all I focused on was the pain, and I just wanted to get rid of the pain of the experience. Primarily, what most people do is just avoid those things that they experienced that pain towards, rather than looking back. Say I was 18, looking back over the past 4 years of my life and thinking, wow, how has this insecurity affected the direction I've moved in? How has it affected my life? How has it affected me in all these types of different ways? But that's really looking back with reflection back, connecting the dots backwards. But what people massively struggle with is connecting the dots looking forward. So imagine right now in your life, there's really only two things that stop you from having anything that you want, but primarily creating the things that you don't have. Yep. So it's firstly your insecurities, and secondly, it's your anxiety. So it's these two things that hardwire your brain in a certain direction, and every recurring conflict, every recurring pattern, whether it's an internal emotional pattern, whether it's an external thing that you do not have, is primarily caused by those problems. Now, when people come and see me, when clients come and see me, like a guy off the top of my head in his 50s, amazing guy, amazing man in every single way. But when I spoke to him, it was clear to me, it was obvious to me, it's probably obvious to everyone else as well, what caused every problem in his life. Yeah, what's caused his divorce, what caused him to be depressed right now, what caused him to overwork and place a huge amount of emphasis on earning money, but almost no emphasis on taking care of himself, for decades and decades and decades. So it's obvious to everyone else, yeah. But he could not connect the dots himself. He looked back and all he saw was, my wife let me down, my business, I was cheated. He looked at everything in disempowering terms, blamed the external. I'm not blaming him for this anyway, I'm just explaining it. Blamed the external, and he just could not connect the dots in himself. But when you do connect the dots, amazing things can happen in your life. Because very often it's one thing in your life, one thing that can cause every problem. Yeah, it might sound quite simplistic, but it really is true for most people. One thing that is the limiting factor, the factor that influences your behavior tremendously powerfully every single day and controls you moving in a certain direction. Now, when you want to move in a different direction, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard, and the thing to get you there is really not just wanting to reduce pain, not just wanting to reduce anxiety, not just wanting to feel less stress. These are all completely unmotivational in any way. The thing that truly is going to get you there is when you connect every single problem in your life over the past 20, 30 years, and then reflect that backwards and look forward to the future and see, oh my God, look at the pain, look at the problems, look what this is going to cause me in the future. And when you do that, you really have absolutely no choice to change, absolutely no choice, to resolve your life in a completely different way. Now, many people, when they come and see me at work, primarily they want to ease pain. They want to get rid of the anxiety, feel better in themselves, which is understandable. Human beings want to feel good. But the thing that really truly massively changes their life is when they connect the dots together. And when they look forward and think, oh my God, maybe just reducing the pain isn't enough. Maybe just lowering my anxiety, maybe just removing these insecurities a little bit is not enough. Maybe I should reflect upon the effect these things are going to have in my life in the negative, but the effect they're going to have in the positive is unbelievable. Yep, if I use this pain as a direction to move forward in, as I use this resistance that I feel towards doing these certain things, as a place to set my compass toward and to move in that direction, which is something, yes, that you probably don't want to do, that most people don't want to do. As you get older, I'm 38, as you get older, you realize in yourself that you cannot hide from anything. You cannot hide from anything. Everything you try and avoid, everything you try and manage the symptoms of, will come back to bite you in the ass. I said ass. 100 times more painfully in the future if you do not resolve it today. So although we look at it from the perspective that it's much easier to not resolve my problems and just to continue in the direction and just to, live a comfortable life, live an okay life, live a good life. It's much easier to do that, yes, but it is infinitely harder to do it over the long term. It's heading you in a direction where there's going to be, such pain, such conflict, such drama, and so it's always going to affect us in such a terrible way. I was ill for about 3 or 4 years, really, really horrifically ill. And, it had a terrible effect on my life. I obviously spent all my money to cope because I couldn't work. I didn't have the energy to look after my wife or my children or all the conflicts and problems that arisen. So stress went through the roof in our family. And it made everything unbelievably difficult, as it does for every person who experiences chronic or debilitating or even, near-life death illness in their life. It has a tremendously negative impact in every way. And during that time, I was so ill, I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't really work. I couldn't really exercise. I couldn't do anything I enjoyed. Didn't leave the house much. Didn't really have any friends. Didn't really spend much time with people at all. Just because I'm a person that likes to bring love and high energy and positive energy to people when I talk to friends and family. So when I couldn't do that, when all I had to bring was me feeling awful inside, I really couldn't connect with people and really found it difficult to let people be compassionate towards me in that type of way. So what I did, during that time is I really reflected on things, really looked back and thought, although illness can happen to anyone, what are the kind of causal factors? We know certain factors influence illness, don't we? And we know certain factors influence health. So I decided myself to feel empowered and to reflect on myself and say, what factors could I influence? What factors could I control? And why did all these things accumulate over years and lead me in this direction where suddenly it hit that point of disaster and conflict and pain in my life? And what happened in that moment was I suddenly connected the dots of every problem in my life, the dots of every recurring problem, the dots of all of these conflicts, everything, even the poor health I experienced. I really connected the dots, and I saw that there was one thing that I'd avoided, one thing that I'd resisted like the plague, one thing that I refused to do, one thing that from a child I learned to avoid, and I'd always done it. And that was the causal factor that, when I looked at my life, influenced my behavior, my choices, my actions in a way that led to those problems happening. And if I'd have moved in a different direction, it's highly likely that illness and the other problems I had because of it, would never have ever happened in my life. So take the time, guys, to reflect on your life, to really think about those things in yourself. And, try, although it's hard, try firstly connect the dots looking backward, which most of us don't want to do because it's overwhelming, isn't it, to take responsibility for every action in your life, for every pain in your life. And then secondly, if you can, try and reflect looking forward, whether you want more money, whether you want to have happier relationships, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to be more confident, stronger, whether you want internally to feel great in yourself, and feel confident, fearless, strong, powerful, whether you want to do something exciting, something fun, something new in your life, whether your life's boring and you want more excitement or joy in your life, whether you're lonely, you don't have enough loving connection relationships around you, and start looking forward at what you want to create, and understanding that you have certain blocks. If you do not have that already, if you're over the age of 30 and you do not have that already, you have certain blocks stopping you from creating it, and as you look forward, it gives you the opportunity to make a decision, to make a bold decision that you can really have those things in a way that's right for yourself. And if you want help on that, give me a call, and we can have a talk over the phone, and really look at connecting those dots for you, which is the first thing I do with most clients. And if that happens, you'll instantly be committed to working with me and making those changes happen. But if it doesn't happen, you 100% won't want to work with me after speaking to me, because you'll still look at it from the perspective of, it's just reducing pain, my money's better spent on something else, I might as well just continue in this direction. Cool, awesome, great to speak to you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow at the same time. Bye.